It's just an online persona. It was satire or parody or something. I didn't mean it.
Jim?
You're taking me up Bantam Canyon in this charcoal-colored landstalker to punish me for trolling you? If only someone would save me.
Can't do it, son. Get yourself out of this mess.
Okay, well, how much of my father's money do you think it'll take to get me out of this situation?
I invited my duos partner, Andrew, and Andrew wasn't the best player, but he was my friend, and I liked playing with him. The reason why I liked playing with him was he sometimes wouldn't listen to a rational call-out, and in return he would die, and it would be funny, which made up for it. We got on late, and we saw that the final week for Season 3 was winding down. I looked down below, and there was an extra challenge. It was called AFK. The description read, follow the sign in Greasy for something that will knock you out of your seat. I asked Andrew if he wanted to spend the next match trying to complete this challenge. He agreed, and we started in duos. We landed in Greasy Grove, and there weren't a lot of people who landed. I thought there... Anyway, we got some decent loot. Nothing major, and we didn't care since we were both just trying to finish this challenge. One team landed, and we were able to take them out. We looked for a few moments going through the buildings, and we see the sign on one of the buildings outside.
This is an old video too.
There was a note. The note read, go to Snobby Shores and get a single kill. I thought that was an odd thing to ask, but luckily the circle was in our favor and that it wasn't super far for us to get to. We get to Snobby Shores, and we actually find a team still looting. We were able to surprise them, and I rushed one with my green pump, and Andrew picked the other off with his green burst. At each body, a sign popped up. It read, acquire 666 amount of wood, and make a 1x1 fort with the materials. Alright. 666 materials. Now, this is getting out of hand. I also didn't even know if a building that high was possible. I started the process of getting wood to carry out the challenge. It took some time to collect that much wood, but Andrew was also able to find 150 wood on his own, and he gave them to me. I started building the huge fort with care to make sure that we didn't fall and die. After some time, I was able to build the tall fort. We stood at the edge of it. It was just a basic 1x1 with 4 walls and stairs. We looked down and we see that the stairs have disappeared and a sign was floating up to the top. It stopped at our line of sight so that we could read it. It read, jump down. We looked down below where the stairs were. There were lights going down, almost as if it was guiding us. If we jump down, we're going to die, I thought. And I didn't want to risk screwing up the challenge. So I asked Andrew if he would like to go first, and he agreed. So he jumps off the fort, and after a few seconds, it says he needs to be revived. I try talking to him, and he doesn't answer. I keep on repeating his name over and over and over again, but he still doesn't answer. As soon as I'm about to jump off, the game lags out. I try to contact him on Discord, and it says he's online, but he still doesn't answer. Maybe he got into it with his parents and had to get off, I thought to myself. I brushed it off and played a few solo matches. I went through to see if I had any more weekly challenges left, and I saw that the AFK challenge was gone. I went to bed with a bizarre feeling that something was about to happen, or already happened. I woke up the next day and saw that Andrew was on Fortnite. I immediately joined his game. Andrew! I say loudly and often to annoy him so he will answer. After about a minute of doing that, I realized something was wrong here. This wasn't a broken mic, because he would have answered me on Discord. I spam him on every platform and means of communication I have with him. I log off of Fortnite, sad and defeated and just worried. Worried that I will never ever see my friend again. After a few hours of being alone and sad, I decided to go on Fortnite one more time, hoping that this wasn't just a prank. I get into the lobby, and Andrew joins. I was so relieved because that means he wasn't AFK after all. He was moving his controller. Andrew! I say loudly. The speaker icon turns on, and I hear, Andrew isn't here right now. I don't know if I ever said my name. My name's Jay Scolder. Thanks for freeing me from the bus driver. I don't know if I ever said my name. My name's Jay Scolder. Thanks for freeing me from the bus driver. I guess if we're going to investigate this, we should know each other's names. Chris looks at me and smiles. He tells me he just got off the phone with somebody. He says that his friend went AFK, and then upon visiting the friend's house, he found him acting like a rabid animal. And he just kept repeating, Andrew isn't here right now. Andrew isn't here right now. I asked Chris if he thought it was another demon we were dealing with. He tells me he's not sure. We get our plane tickets ready, and the next day we're on a flight to investigate this strange but similar event. We knock on the door, and a very timid, scared person opens the door. We ask him if he was the person who made the call. He nods and told us he had something to show us. What he showed us dumbfounded us. He had Andrew tied to a chair. We asked him why he did that, and he told us to wait. No sooner than when he said that, Andrew broke out of his restraints. He didn't walk. He was on all fours like an animal. He didn't throw any punches, but he tried to bite us and scratch us. We quickly subdued him, and we listened to this person's full story. He told us of a special challenge. They did it, and when they succeeded, Andrew wasn't there anymore. He tried to contact him by any means, but when he finally got in contact, it wasn't him. But he tells us this isn't the reason he called. He said when Season 6 came out, there was a challenge called AFK 2. He double-checked it wasn't on anyone's computer or console, just on Andrew's and his. I asked for his name since he's yet to tell us, and he tells us his name is Michael. Chris tells Michael to hold on and that we'd be getting our computers. I asked Chris why he thinks that would work, and he told me if Andrew can get the challenge and Michael can get the challenge, it has to be related to the IP address, and that some things aren't as creepy and foreign as they may seem. We get our computers and hook them up to the Wi-Fi, and sure enough, we get the challenge too. Chris tells us we're going to complete the challenge, and Michael asks how all of us could complete this. Chris tells us Andrew doesn't really have to play, but he just has to be in the game for his plan to work. Chris says he's done his research while he was in the Hell Dimension. He thinks we aren't dealing with a demon like a bus driver, but rather a low class of demon, a half-breed, a chimera. Chris says he meets all the classifications of one, and that would explain 3 critical things. The first being, he only says one thing. The second being, why he is on all fours and biting like an animal. And third, why the new Tier 100 skin just magically looked like a chimera. It wasn't anywhere near the length of the first AFK challenge. We simply had to go to what was Loot Lake, stand on each 4 corners of the new floating island, and it would move. Then we jumped down the vortex, and we should have a boss battle to attend to. Chris gathered it would be the werewolf. If we killed him, they should switch. We all get into a game with the help of Michael playing with 2 controllers, one for him and one for Andrew. We go to Loot Lake and we all stood on a different corner. Sure enough, the floating island moved, and the vortex was accessible. We jumped down and it was empty and void, except for water, as if it was another dimension. All of a sudden, lights turn on out of nowhere, and sure enough, Chris is right. It was the Tier 100 skin, the werewolf. We surround him, and much like Andrew at the beginning, he runs at us on all fours, and he tries to bite us, scratch us, and destroy us. The howl he made. Chris all of a sudden transforms into a male version of Calamity and drives a stake through its heart. In a flash, the game ended. Chris, Michael, and myself get up out of the room we're in and walk to the other room where Andrew's being held. We open the door. Andrew? Michael says. Andrew looks up in a dazed and confused state and asks what happened. Michael runs over and hugs his long-lost friend. To me, and he says, "Stick with me to find out. We have another case anyway. It has to do with a bunny man." I know what you're thinking. AFK is a myth, a creepypasta. I for sure know that, but sometimes people want to replicate it. It's been a number of years since the AFK incident here in my town. The person who survived graduated high school and moved on to another state for college. Now my friends and I are in the same high school as the incident. Some seniors and juniors who were freshmen and sophomores at the time still tell the story about Andrew going missing. Then don't get me started on Jay Skolder wanting to investigate. That went nowhere. But you know what they say. My friends and I wanted to learn more about it because whether it was real or not, they never found Andrew. Andrew's parents went insane because of that. Something real happened to him and I wanted to find out more. I wanted to replicate what happened. I had a friend who was willing to help me try. But the one thing we could never figure out, how to trigger the AFK challenges. But I suppose someone or something wanted me to find it, because I can finally tell you more about it. I was going through my challenge list on the new holo map on the table. I found an unknown region to Fortnite on this holo map, and it said the AFK challenges were there. I called up that friend who was willing to help me. His name was Brett. Brett got online. He played Xbox One while I played on PC. He was a literal bot, and I mean of the trash can variety. When we loaded into duos, that unknown region appeared. It appeared at the bottom right of the map. It was no bigger than a few buildings. When we landed, we noticed something familiar from what the seniors were saying about Andrew. There were signs with instructions on what to do, and we needed to hurry soon because the circle was not on us, and I didn't know if the AFK challenges would go away. We only had one challenge to do. All of the signs said the same thing, and it was to get 666 wood each to build that tower. I'll spare you the details, but after a few moments, we both got the wood needed. And when the storm started to roll in, we quickly made the tower structure. When we built the tower, we expected something to pop up like with Andrew's case, but nothing happened. The storm passed us and we started to take damage. We began to panic as our health winded down to the single digits. As Brett was just about to jump, a message popped up for both of us. It said, "Die in the storm." After a few seconds, we both died in the storm. This triggered the game to crash. My monitor went dark and it began to emit an unbearable noise. That's when I heard it. Something came out of my speakers. "Where's Brett?" I demanded. After an hour of me waiting for them to answer me, they never did. Brett was gone, just like Andrew. It was real. It was all real. But I contacted them one time, and I'm not going to give up, and I'll do it again. Brett, I'm coming back for you, and we're going to finally solve this AFK thing. You know, dying sucks, especially at a young age. I just turned 20. I remember when life wasn't so serious. Before the hospital stays, before the crying parents, before all of that, it was just video games and Fortnite. My name's Noah, and I don't have long to live. The doctors say maybe I can get 2 years at best. So if anything, that makes me want to live life to its fullest. And to me, a big part of that is playing video games. And before I die, I want to leave my mark on Fortnite, and hopefully be remembered for a long time. My friend Jackson and I play a ton of Fortnite competitively. We've gotten really good. We played in a number of cups, and we're going to play in the Fortnite World Cup as a duos team. Jackson was browsing the list of tournaments, and he found something called the Soul Tournament. He told me to look at it. I found it. It looked ominous and downright creepy. But what really caught our eye was that it wasn't offering a cash prize. Instead it said, "Win back your soul." As I said earlier, I was dying. This could be a sign. It could be a higher power trying to help me. We researched Soul Tournament on Google. Nothing came up. Everything was covering the World Cup. I clicked on the event details in the game, and my jaw dropped. It said this tournament was only open to those who have a terminal illness, and their one friend, for competition purposes. Only those with a need for the Soul Tournament will see the Soul Tournament. Winner of this tournament gets their soul cleansed, and with it, their terminal illness cured. You know, when you're circling the drain like I am, you don't want to believe this is fake. I mean, after all, I see it right in front of my face. The tournament would last for 3 days. It consisted of 1 day of open play, the next day of semis, and the day after was the finals. There could be only one winner, and the winner would lose their terminal illness for good. It was a duos tournament. It didn't start until this coming Friday, so we had a few days to practice. It let us actually enroll in the tournament right now to save our place. When we enrolled, we couldn't help shake the feeling that we were being watched. Not to mention, our Fortnite games would be filled with bugs. One warm-up game we played, we even saw Moisty Mire back in the map again, except all the trees were on fire, almost as if this map was in hell itself. The day before the tournament, I heard a loud knock on my door. When I answered the door, there was no one there except a box. It had Soul Tournament written on it. I opened the box, and it had a letter thanking me for entering the tournament and to remind me that the tournament will be starting tomorrow. Behind the letter was a wristband. It had instructions on it. I was supposed to wear the wristband during the tournament. It would keep track of our souls and would cure me if I won. I contacted Jackson, and he received the box as well. I was having mixed feelings about this. I hope I win, and I hope this tournament does cure me of my illness. the tournament starts tomorrow. Jackson and I are ready. I just hope the Soul Tournament is ready for us. The day was finally here, the open phase of the Soul Tournament. Jackson and I were well prepared and ready. We prepared for anything because this wasn't like the normal cups or tournaments. We didn't know the full rules. We didn't know how many matches we had or were limited to in the open phase, let alone in semis or the finals. Jackson and myself log onto Fortnite, and we see that the Soul Tournament was live. We go to click on it. It won't let us. After struggling for a few moments, Jackson realizes we don't have our wristbands on. The wristband would cure me if I'd won, and the wristband was our ticket in. We put our wristbands on. The wristband was like a smartwatch. It had a screen on it. We tried to turn them on after we put them on our wrist, but nothing. We both clicked Soul Tournament, and then we were able to go through. When it brought us to the Soul Tournament lobby, the screen on our wristbands turned on. With that, we felt a prick. Under the monitor, it was taking our blood. It felt like a large needle, and it stung. We look up to our screens, and it finally explains the full rules. There would be only 3 rounds of open play. Only 3 games. 3 tries. Even worse, semis only consisted of 400 players. Each kill was worth 1 soul point. Top 10 was worth 3 soul points, and winning was worth 5. If the wristband had an X on it, we were out. If we had a check mark, we knew we advanced to the semifinals. We understood what was at stake. We didn't want to know what the wristband would do to us if we lost. We took a few moments and we started it up. We landed Viking the first round. I got a kill. Jackson got 2. The final person there tried to evade us, but Jackson killed him as well. We managed to place top 10 and got an extra 3 points. All in all that round, we got 7 points. The next round, we decided to take a huge risk and drop Tilted. It paid off. I got 4 kills. Jackson got 3. We were set up, and the loot we had was amazing. We rode the outer circle all game. We ended up winning that game as well. Placing top 10 and winning the game is stackable, so we walked away with 8 points for just placing 10th and winning. Overall combined, the kills we got were 10. We walked away with a whopping 18 points that round alone. The final round, we decided to play slow and land Fatal Fields. Only 1 team landed there, and we won out. It was a slow match, and we only got 2 other kills before being eliminated at place 8. Overall, throughout the 3 open placement matches, we got 32 points combined. Hopefully, that was enough. We played some more matches that day to get ready for the semis that we hoped that we got into. When the Soul Tournament open round was closed, we felt the needle stab even further into us, hitting our bone. Then a checkmark appeared. We made it to the semi-finals. We placed high 300s. We barely made it, but we made it. Semi-finals start tomorrow. It was an uphill battle, but the first stage was done. I then received an anonymous text message on my phone. It read, "I've been watching you. Congrats on getting past openers. I hope you win. We'll see you soon." Semi-finals, here we come. We woke up. Today was the semi-finals. Just what was about to happen? My wristband began to beep. It said, "Semi-final round" displayed on it. I've gotten used to the wristband being on me for the tournament. It doesn't hurt anymore. Jackson and I get on Fortnite and we start to warm up. Like last time, we wouldn't know the official rules of the semi-finals until it was time. There was a countdown on our wristbands that had started. When the wristband hit 0, it took us out of the match that we were warming up in and put us in a pre-game lobby for the semi-final. That was a cool feature. It didn't do that in the last open round that we had yesterday. We began to read the rules aloud. This was totally different than before. It was crazy. This wasn't tournament style at all. It was just one big game. There would be 4 matches of 100 players going all at it at once, since semis consisted of 400 people. It all made sense why the wristband forced us into the semifinals. Everyone had to be here. In order to advance, you had to be the last 25 alive. That was it. Then the last 25 from the other 3 teams would round out the finale of 100 people. This was a duo, so that meant the 25th player of each game would be a solo person heading into the finale. There would be 2 wildcard teams at best. We didn't have time, it was just 1 game, and if we didn't cut 25, we were out. One thing was for sure, we wanted to stay away from high traffic areas and play the storm to our advantage. We see that Haunted Hills is the furthest point away from us at the Battle Bus route. We decide to jump there, and it's a long glide. We were shocked when we finally saw a team coming with us from this far away. I mean, it's not like we had another shot at this. If we died before 25 players, it was over. Jackson and I would find guns easily when we landed on the ground. We had a bit of luck too. We saw that the 2 who also landed with us landed in the big mausoleum. We rushed them and got the upper hand. I started thinking about the people that we just killed would surely die now in real life too, because they can't be cured. I had to brush off those feelings I was having, or else I would lose. We kept on riding the circle. Before we knew it, there were 30 people left. We got into a fight near Dusty Divot. It was insane. People were building insane structures too, insane mountainside. People were just popping shots left and right and running. It was too close to die now, and we were getting rushed. Luckily for us, another team sniped them and weakened them so that we could one-pump them each. We looked, there were 27 people left. That's when the team that was sniping us glided in. Another team was also rushing us from behind. Jackson knows we're about to be eliminated just shy of 25, and he doesn't have a disease that needs to be cured, so he does the one thing he thinks he can do. He drops a rift to go and tells me to get out of here. He uses his newly opened slot to pick up an RPG from the dead duo's team. I take the rift and get out of there. Jackson spams RPGs. As he's getting pinched, he downs someone, but then he himself goes down. I asked him over the mic why he sacrificed himself and made me rift out. He told me so no one would follow me in the rift. I placed 25th exactly and I was killed. Things didn't go as planned. Jackson was out, and I'd have a random as my duo's partner for the finale. Jackson told me his wristband had an X on it now, and it felt like something was being released into his body. His mic cut out, and he left the game. I receive another text from the same number that congratulated me last night for winning openers. This text read, "Well, it's fate. We're partners. I'll invite you soon." Just what happened to Jackson, and who is this new partner of mine, and how did he get my number before the semifinals? Can I even win the Soul Tournament now? Well, this is it. The finals. Things did not go as planned. I received a friend request from the mystery person who is now my dubs partner. We played a few warm-up matches. His name was Gavin, and he was a pretty chill guy. Like me, he has a terminal illness that cannot be cured unless he wins this tournament. Needless to say, we're both very motivated to win. I heard the news on Jackson. He was found dead. The crazy part? He didn't have his wristband on. Someone took it and covered it up. Things were getting darker and more sinister by the moment, and by the end of today, it would all be over. I told Gavin what happened. He told me he didn't want to tell me this, but the same thing happened to his friend, who also was his dubs partner. He told me to look up some things, and I did. Everyone who lost the tournament died, more than likely by being poisoned by the wristband. Everyone who died had had theirs removed. This was a crazy conspiracy. The wristband pulled us from our warm-up games like the semifinals and put us into the final lobby. The rules were on the screen for us to read for this final match. It read, 1 match, 1 life. No reboot fans. If you die here, you are eliminated from the tournament. Give it all you got. The pregame lobby had a countdown. It was 5 minutes long. I had time to think, and Gavin and I talked. We assumed that if we died here, the wristband would kill us. But for what reason? For what goal? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We were on the battle bus. We talked about where to land in the 5-minute pregame lobby, but it seemed that everyone wanted to win, so everyone was spread out. I think we aren't the only ones who are putting together what those wristbands can do. We decide to land Fatal Fields. It was our best option and one of the last stops on the route. We land and we find that 2 Dubs teams are also landing there. We loot up and we kill them. It had chat on to where we could hear them. I could hear them scream like something was being injected into them. We rode out the circles, just staying on the edge the whole game. It was a camp fest. The final circle before the mobile circles took over was already here, and there were still 10 people left. Gavin and I became separated. The storm came in, and we had to move to the small circle that was very far away. Everyone was building and rushing. I was camping in a small house, and I had a Dubs team over me. When they moved directly over me, I shot with my Barrett and destroyed the floor, placed a trap, and built out. I'm sorry, you two. I ran and caught up to Gavin. From there, it was nothing but build wars. Someone sniped Gavin. He was down. There were 7 people left. It was slow motion as I saw the RPG finish him off. But if I won, he would live. The storm weeded out a ton of people. There were 3 people left, counting myself. I saw the final 2 people fighting, and I knew this was a 1v1v1. I stayed at a distance with my sniper. I took an educated guess on who was the weaker opponent, and I sniped the one who had more health. I hit him for 150. The weaker person SMG'd him. This was it. Everything was riding on this moment. I place my jump pad. I glide in. He pumps me with a spaz. I have 20 health left. I start to build a big 1x1 and pop shots below. Each shot I land, my heart pumps faster and harder. He tried to make a run for it. He must have had no mats. I sniped him. I won. I won the Soul Tournament. Gavin, we won. Gavin. Oh no. It boots me to the main lobby, and it said I received a present from Epic Games. There was a note. It read, "Congratulations on being the lucky one to survive. As promised, you will be healed. You should feel something hitting your bloodstream. It's a special nanobot that eats all forms of cancer. In order to do something like this, materials were needed. Other people's souls were needed. Everyone died so that you could live. There was only meant to be one winner. If somehow you and Gavin both stayed alive and you both won, you would have been forced to 1v1 right then and right there." I went to the doctors today. They say it's a miracle. I was healthy and cured. This wasn't a miracle. How many people had to die so that I could live? I'll live for their memory and for them to live through me. The Soul Tournament gave me my life back. But the cost? The cost was more than I could have ever imagined.
Rage quit is the next one.
Ask him where he wants to go. We agreed that we would go Greasy Grove. We drop in and glide down to the burger joint. So far, so good. He was talking and giving call-outs, and we were sticking together. We actually managed
Yeah? Hold on.
to get 2 duo teams eliminated, and the kid pulled his own weight. I was in shock. I hear the kid say in a normal voice, "Just a second," instead of yelling across the room like kids tend to do when yelling at their mothers to tell them to wait. "Was that your mom?" I asked him. "No, it was my guardian." Guardian? I thought to myself, like a legal guardian? This is where I almost laughed at him. He said, "No, my guardian angel." Yeah, sure. As we continued through the game, he talked to his guardian angel again, but this time, it all took a much darker tone. Yeah, just 1 minute. Oh, come on, don't get mad at me. Then I just hear things sound like they're being thrown around this kid's room, almost as if there was a hurricane there and the kid was in the eye of the storm. "Everything okay over there?" I asked him. "I'm fine. She just doesn't like it when I don't listen, but I'm getting off after this game," as if he was saying it directly to her. About 5 minutes go by and I hear the kid say, "I told you after this game, it's almost over." This is where I felt goosebumps throughout my entire body. I just heard a voice very sinisterly say, "Now, now, 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 now." And this time things were louder, way louder. I heard what sounded like windows and doors rapidly shut. The guy's character in the game was lagging and skipping. And just like that, as if it was a hard reset on his Xbox, he was gone. I tried messaging him on Xbox, but I never got a reply.